Morning, Raptor Freak Alexiot's here. Sunday morning, it's time for a Sunday special report. Today, I'm interested in talking about Team Canada and the news this past week in the press conference with Rowan Barrett, Nick Nurse, Nav Bhatia, and other Team Canada dignitaries announcing a core of players that have committed to be a part of Team Canada's international play cycle leading up to the 2024 Olympics. This is a great thing for all kinds of different reasons. One of the main reasons why North American international Olympic teams, US and Canada, have not done well at times is because they waited till the last minute and thrown teams together as just all-stars, NBA stars, and there's no real lead up time where they can gel, where they can get together and get some good team play together. And part of it is there's such a high turnover from cycles. There may be some people that show up for these goodwill games or the games that qualify, but then they won't be the same ones that show up for the Olympics and stuff like that. The U.S. has a major problem with this, that they don't get anybody committed. And Canada has been similar to the U.S. in this nature. Now, the reason why European teams and teams in other continents do well is because their teams are together as a group from a very young age. You can look at Jonas Valanciunas in the Lithuanian national team, and he played with Donatas Sabonis and other Lithuanian guys since he was 10 years old, 12 years old. They've played together for 10 years. 20 to 15 years. These guys stay on the team together. You look at Spain's situation with Calderon and the Gasol brothers and different Spanish players. They all stuck together and played for their country over and over again so that they actually got a real synergy and familiarity between everyone. Yes, Canada. And so Rowan Barrett has been saying, he's the team president of Canadian basketball right now, since Steve Nash stepped down as the head of it because of taking the job with the Brooklyn Nets as the head coach. He's more on running things, and Steve Nash is now more of a senior advisor. And then you got Nick Nurse involved also with kind of getting this all organized and together. Did you guys know that the last time Canada played at the Olympics was in 2000? That they haven't been there in over 20 years. And this needs to be rectified. It's not that we don't have the talent. Obviously, we do. And that's why I'm really curious about this new chapter in Team Canada basketball. That we should become a new powerhouse, that we should become a new medal contender in the world of international basketball. It just makes sense. The Carter effect has seen its maturation to 20 years, and now we're seeing a lot of the young people from this country of Canada that became big NBA players because of the influence of Vince Carter and his play in the early 2000s on the Toronto Raptors. There's so many Canadian players in the league at this point. We have to exclude NBA players from Team Canada, that not every single one can be on the team. In fact, we have some of the best Canadian NBA players not on this list that I'm going to go over today. But, that's great. In fact, I found out, somebody like Andrew Wiggins, who's playing for the Golden State Warriors in the finals, has not committed to be in this program leading up to the 2024 Olympics. But I'm going to tell you something. Nick Nurse has said that even though certain players in the NBA have not committed, the opportunity to try out and still make the team before the Olympics is still there. So we can't count out that Andrew Wiggins will not be on the Olympic team. It's just that they want this main core to be going forward. Now, these guys are on for sure. But if there's unforeseen circumstances where somebody has to drop out or whatever like that, then we have a replacement. Boom, we bring in Andrew Wiggins or somebody like that. So I like that there's that flexibility just in case. So just because certain guys aren't on this roster doesn't mean they won't be playing for Canada for the Olympics. But first, we have to qualify. Now, there is a path towards that, and we're on the good foot for it. We've won our first two qualifiers in the North American bracket. We're only two teams from the North America bracket go into the qualifying pool for the Olympics. And we're on track. We have two games this summer. We're playing on Canada Day against Dominican Republic, and then we play the Virgin Islands in Virgin Islands. Now, both those games, we win them, that's good. That'll really set us up to be able to be in there. All right, Tom Duke, let's go Canada. Yes. Yes. I really did learn a lot about Team Canada. That, like, historically, Team Canada in basketball has never done very much. And we want to change this. And I have a couple reasons why this is going to change. Going along with what I was just saying, that they got these NBA guys to commit to be involved in the program for the next 3 summers. That is a big, huge thing. Even if they're hurt, like Kem Birch will be, because he's had his knee surgery this week and he will not be able to play in the 2 games that I just mentioned against Dominican and Virgin Islands, he will still be at those games watching them and being a part of the team and a part of the synergy and the experience to be there and stuff like that. That's really important because you got these guys working together every summer. They build a camaraderie, a synergy. And that's going to be fantastic leading into the 2024 Olympics, which we hope Canada will qualify for and play in at that level. Oh, my gosh. All right, let's see. Tom Duke saying, hoping Jamal Murray is all healed up and well. Such a stud. All right, Tom, since you named the name that's on the list, let's start talking about the list. Let's see. Seymour saying, is Anthony Bennett still hooping? Is he on Team Canada? Anthony Bennett is not on the radar as far as Team Canada play at this point. I think that he's a little bit past his time. I mean, we got to remember, when did Cleveland draft him number 1? Like, it was almost 10 years ago at this point. He has had his chances over and over again. But no, he's not involved in this cycle. Now, let me just go over the roster real quick. And I've even kind of delineated positions and where I think they'll be as far as their playing time and things like that. And also the style that Nick Nurse is going to have to play with them. It's very interesting. In fact, the Team Canada's makeup right now makes me think that they cannot play anything like the current Raptors. This is not going to be a positionless team. This is not going to be a team that has a lot of bigs either. That there are some bigs, but this team's full of slashers, swingmen, shooting guards, and point guards is mostly what this team is. In fact, I see them starting a lineup with a small forward or maybe 3 wings with a center and a point guard. That it'll be no power forward, that will have one power forward center, Dwight Powell. That's who I'm picking to speculate to start, just because of his starting for the Mavs this year and the outstanding low post play of Dwight Powell, and just his general defensive mobility is really, really good. So I see them starting Powell at center and keeping the team mobile. And then what they're going to do is they may do something similar to what the New York Knicks have done with RJ Barrett. Now, at times, they've been small on the court, and RJ ends up playing like the power forward, with Julius Randle at center or something like that. They did that a lot this year, the Knicks. And I think that that's similar to what Nick Nurse is going to do with Team Canada, that if he really wants to maximize the NBA talent that he has on this roster, he's going to have to play small to an extent. And that small will be from 2 to 4. You'll have a regular 2-guard and a regular 2-guard swing with a small forward, and then maybe just a small forward at power forward, because they just don't have the talent with the big guys overall. So I say Dwight Powell at center, RJ Barrett at forward, but he's really kind of the power forward because, listen, he is obviously one of the most talented Canadians on this roster, RJ Barrett. His father's in charge. Of course, he's going to be involved in Team Canada events as much as possible because of his father's connection and the fact that he is one of the best Canadian NBA players in the league. So I have him slotted at the 4. And then at 3, I'm putting Dylan Brooks. The reason why I'm putting him there is because he just showed a dog in his fight this year that was absolutely outstanding and amazing. You cannot keep this man out of the starting lineup, Dylan Brooks. He is a winner. He is a hard-nosed player. He's going to bring an edge to Team Canada that I'm really looking forward to. That, you got to start him. And then obviously you got to start the guy that Tom Duke is mentioning here, Jamal Murray. That this guy has been one of the top scorers in the Western Conference in the last few years when he's not hurt. And that, you can't keep him out of the starting lineup either. And then I pick at the point guard Shea Gregarious Alexander. That, he's just too much of a good talent and stuff. Like, he's a tall guard, and he's just really, really good for Oklahoma City. So that's my starting lineup for Team Canada right now. It's SGA, Jamal Murray, Dylan Brooks, RJ Barrett with Dwight Powell at center. That is really what I think Nick Nurse will do. If Ken Birch hadn't been hurt, I would have thought maybe he might have started him with Powell at power forward and slot them down that way. But even then, I don't know if Birch would ever be a starter on this Team Canada team. But I do like that we have a lot of size and backup on this team, but we really don't have a lot of power forwards and stuff like that. So G saying, I like Dylan. He definitely has that edge. And Seymour saying, let's go Maple Leafs. Yeah, let's go. Let's go Team Canada. Yeah. Shea was at the CEBL game. Yeah, there were him and his cousin, Nikel, were both at the game in Guelph. And they're around. Yeah, they're around right now. They've been hanging around in Hamilton. They've been in different places, getting ready for Team Canada. Maybe they're meeting with Nick Nurse and playing with him and stuff like that. Tom Duke says, sweet starting five. Boucher isn't interested. Hey, listen, I think that this is the way it is that they came to all these players and said, can you commit for the next 3 summers to work with us in Team Canada for leading up to the Olympics? And Chris could not give him that for sure. But like I said, the same situation with Andrew Wiggins, the same situation with Tristan Thompson, the same situation with Chris Boucher. They did not commit to this cycle, but they could get the opportunity to be added later, depending on if other players can't get in. They have to play. They have to make the team, is what Nick Nurse says. He's like, you have to try out and make the team later since you didn't get named to it now. And these guys could have that happen. I could see Andrew Wiggins, because he has played for Team Canada in the last cycle to help them already. He didn't commit this time, but I could see him being added later, either as an injury replacement or just he makes a team by doing tryout and he gets in it later. So, yeah, and Boucher's a little bit of a rising media star for sure, Tom Duke. I love that he keeps posting on Instagram right now pictures of himself in advertisements around Toronto. People are taking pictures of him on ads around Toronto, and then he posts them on his IG saying, well, I must have made it, because this man from Montreal is all over Toronto on the big advertisements in the city and stuff like that. Good morning, Sue. Go Team Canada. Yes, yes. Seymour saying Portland Trailblazers hired ESPN's draft overseer Mike Schmidt. Not sure how this pans out since he has extended scouting on every rookie. Well, they just wanted to buy the computer, it sounds like. Okay, Portland needs help. I mean, they've had some dysfunction in their front office, so I can see them just getting a knowledgeable guy and bringing him in. You know, that's fine, whatever. They need help. We got Masai. We know Masai is the same dude, maybe even better. Tom saying good morning to Sue. So that's how I look at it. Now, you may be asking me, where's Lou Dort? Because this is the real problem. It's like I named the 5 starters, right, just then. You know, SGA, Jamal Murray, Dylan Brooks, RJ Barrett, and Dwight Powell. Where's Lou Dort? Like, Lou Dort could honestly start on this team also. I want him to be the 6th man, be the guy, the energy guy that comes off the bench. I mean, we could really flip him with Dylan Brooks if we wanted to. If you don't want to start Dylan Brooks, bring him off the bench and start Lou Dort. I don't know. I was having a real hard time figuring this out, because we really do have a glut of these shooting guard small forwards on this Team Canada roster. Like, who would you guys pick if you could start either one of those guys? I'm not taking Jamal Murray out of the starting lineup. But who would you start between Dylan Brooks and Lou Dort? You guys, how do you feel about that? All right, let's see. Let's see. All right. G saying, did you watch Scotty's video? His shot is looking nice. Yes, G. Scotty's looking real good. He's working out hard. And listen, he's on Twitch every single day. You guys need to go on Twitch and follow him. I watched him play video games for 3 hours yesterday. And it is amazing the things I learned about him just from watching him play on Twitch. 2K. This man is insane about basketball. A lot of the people who were coming into the Twitch stream and making comments were trying to name him nicknames. It's like, we'll call you Barney. They wanted to call him Barney. I was like, shut the fuck up. He said, no, that's no good. He literally said that I don't like that nickname. So I think that his nickname should be Scotty Basketball, because this man lives and breathes basketball. He can't stop ingesting basketball. I'm going to tell you that right now about Scotty Barnes. In fact, yesterday on a nice sunny Saturday, Memorial Day weekend, this man chose to sit inside his house and play basketball video games all day. In fact, he was shaming his friend Lloyd for wanting to go out on the beach for a little while. He said, Lloyd, you don't need to go outside and get on the beach. Don't you want to stay in here and make buckets and get W's? Is what he said to his friend Lloyd. He's like, Scotty's saying, don't go out there. You just come and play hoops with me. The man can't stop playing hoops. It's either he's in the regular season with the Raptors doing the Raptor things, or he's in the offseason. He's working out during the day, and at night he's playing basketball and video games. So he just doesn't get away from it. And it's really fun to watch him in the game because you hear him make comments as the game goes on, depending on whether his team on the game is winning or not. And you hear his resolve about wanting to win. Like it's really, really interesting because like when they're in a certain point in the game where it's close and the time's running out, he actually gets on the group chat and he does like what he does with the Raptors. He's like, all right, guys, we need to buckle down. We need to get on your man. He's like, I could literally hear him saying that in a Raptors huddle in a real game. The way he talks to his team on the Twitch with the video game is like, you can hear his leadership on it. And it was so badass to hear. And there were other fun things that happened on the Twitch, y'all. You're getting some inside information. You're getting the real Raptor Freak stuff today because you aren't going to hear this most places. Somebody in the comments said, did you hear about Yuta's new ring? And Scotty perked up and he said, what, Yuta got a new ring? He's like, what did Yuta get a ring for? He thought he got it from playing basketball. And then the commenter is like, Yuta got engaged to get married. And Scotty's like, whoa! It's like really weird to see Scotty's reaction to that news live because he didn't pay attention. He didn't know Yuta got engaged earlier this week. So when he heard it, it was really cool to be there to see him react to it. Like he was really excited for Yuta. And he was like, why did Yuta get a ring? He thought he got it from playing basketball already. So that was a really comical moment. And then a lot of people on the stream were trying to get Scotty to play Warzone, which is Call of Duty. And Delano and Chris play it. Chris Boucher. They play Warzone all the time. And they were saying, play some Warzone with Chris Boucher. And Scotty goes all of a sudden, he said, let me call him. And I'm like, whoa, wait a second. He's going to call Chris Boucher while he's on the stream. And he did. He called him. He called him and said, hey, what's up? Are you sleeping? He's like, you sound like you're sleeping. And then like Chris is like, no, he's like, dude, we got to play some Warzone soon. The people want to watch us play Warzone on the Twitch. And like they're going back and forth. And he's like, okay, man, maybe like in an hour or two or something like that. They didn't go back on play last night, but they're going to do it soon. So y'all need to follow Chris or Scotty on Twitch. If you want that real deep inside look at Scotty Barnes, it was crazy. Like, and when they hung up, Scotty goes, love you, bro. And he hung up. He's like, he said that to Boucher. I was like so warmed by the Raptor love between him and Chris Boucher and having their little phone conversation in front of me and stuff. It looks like he's playing in his high school, like bedroom. Like in the back, there's a picture of Michael Jordan on the wall. And then there's like all these little trophies, like these trophies you can tell he won from like lower levels of basketball. He's in his bedroom at his mother's house is basically where he's playing this. And it's hilarious. He's on there and he's like, hang on, guys, the pizza's here. And he gets up and he's like eating pizza on there and playing video games at the same time and stuff like that. People are asking him all kinds of questions. He said his favorite beverage is iced tea, that he loves to drink iced tea. It's just a really, really informative way to learn about Scotty Barnes right now. I'm telling you, watch him on Twitch. And then over the last 4 days, he's been on every single day for at least 1 or 2 hours. So you can go on there and see, he might be on there today. It's the off season. This is what he wants to do. He's 20 years old. He's not old enough to drink in Florida. Thank God. And honestly, I don't want him to get into any kind of drinking club and lifestyle. If he's just a nerd playing video games at home, I'm not saying he's a nerd, but if he's just that kind of guy that likes to play video games at home, I'm all for it. Keeps him out of trouble. And you know what? Honestly, when he's playing the game, he's actually really practicing and learning more about the game of basketball. Even though it's a video game, I know that, but you can see the way he plays off his teammates in the game is really informative also to the way he sees basketball on a real court. So highly recommend this kind of stuff. It's so interesting. Let's see. Tom Duke saying Rookie of the Year got a new lid, haircut, and looking sharp. Yeah, he looks all right. He was wearing a hood over his head yesterday. Talking about Brooks. Sue's saying something about Armani Brooks. Yeah, he's been showing Instagram videos of him working out also. We're seeing Delano working out. We're seeing Pascal working out. Thad Young. We're seeing a lot of the Raptors in workout mode right now already and stuff like that. And that's good. No off season. Tom Duke's saying Scotty, the human slot machine, spitting dimes all over the place. He's hilarious. Like honestly, he really realized how young he is. Like Chris said, he looked like a man when he showed up last year. And then they heard him talk and his personality, like he's still a kid. He is like a kid, and he really is on there. And it's so refreshing. In some ways, really is a symbol of the new era of social media and the way it interacts with the players and the fans. There's no PR in between. There's no team representative advising him what and what not to say. It's just pure, unadulterated, 100% Scotty Barnes sitting in his bedroom playing video games with his friends and having a good time. And it's just fun to watch. It is. I leave it on, and I feel like I'm there hanging out with them, just like listening, overhearing everything they're saying and stuff. So let's see. Seymour saying Brooks over Dort. Dort good, but Brooks has more offense. Yeah, I would agree with this. That's kind of why I put him this way. That in some ways you want that edge that Dylan Brooks has right away from the beginning of the game. And that Dort is the kind of guy who's instant energy also. Like he's such an energy ball that and maybe if you have your team's not doing so well, you bring him in, you pep everything up and get it up tempo. It may be that this is all decided by who is healthy and who is not. Like if one of the guys, like if Murray's not completely ready to come back, then Dort starts at point guard. I mean, at shooting guard next to SGA, like normal. And I mean, that's synergy in itself, having the two Thunder players together on this team, and then SGA with his cousin, Nickel. That is great too, because that's got to be fun for them. You want these guys to have a fun little nucleus that they just have a lot of fun being around each other. So it helps when you have family members and teammates on the team also and stuff like that. So I like that idea, and I think Seymour, you and I are pretty similar on our opinions about how it should be. Seymour saying, I'm mad both Boston and Miami in East Finals. I feel like we can beat them both. Yeah. We just weren't ready completely. I think that there's a combination of bad luck with the injuries and then just the first time, feeling it for the first time, going in there for the first time. It'll be totally different the next first game in the playoffs that Scotty Barnes plays in. He will have no more the terrain and what to expect as far as the uptick in energy and intensity, and he will match it better next time. And I really do feel like that is part of the difference is you have to get that first time in the playoffs out of your way, and then you realize really what you're dealing with, and you can plan better ahead of time and stuff like that. So Sue's saying Scotty is a true winner, and his work ethic proves it. Why he will always get better. Yeah, he's hilarious on there. Like, listen, when he loses on that video game, he gets mad. Like when they lost, I could tell how angry he was. Like he would be like really like frustrated. And it was a really weird situation where there was a group of players that were following him around because like this game has different courts in different areas. There's like the rec room with refs and they have the lines and you actually get fouls called. And then you can go out and play on the beach or something like that. And there's no calls. It's street ball and you're just kind of playing. Well, him and his buddies, Lloyd and a couple of other guys that he plays with regularly, were going from different courts, and there was a gang of other players that were following them, and they like match up against them, and they were absolutely messing them up on the court. One of them was wearing a Scotty Barnes jersey, one of the guys that was playing against them. And they were following him around and spamming their defensive buttons to really steal and stuff. And it was frustrating Scott. He didn't like this. And part of it is that his crew isn't as adept and strong. It's like his friends, but they're not all that good in some ways. And he didn't have enough of them. But these other guys were very organized. They were coming in like they were pros on this game, and they were really messing them up. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, let's see. Sue saying, I meant Dylan Brooks to start over Dort. Love Dort, but if I had to choose Brooks. Brooks just has a killer instinct, which I think we can use on Team Canada. Yeah, I agree with this. And really, they're both similarly young. It's not that either one of them has a lot of experience, because that is a part of the whole makeup of the Team Canada team. I should continue with this and talk about it. That, like, listen, we have some vets on this team also. We got Corey Joseph. We got Kelly Olynyk. And these guys have played for Team Canada in many cycles of it, like all through like the last 10 years. And that's good that you have these veteran guys who have been involved in international play. They've been in the NBA for a long time, but they should really be bench and backup guys. That Corey Joseph is my backup point guard, that if you just need somebody to settle things down, have some experience, veteran kind of stuff, put Joseph in, and we know that he will be able to be a savvy, smart vet. and doing smart things out there. So he's backup point guard. I said Lou Dort at a second backup as really six man is what I'll call him. And then Nickel is around there too. Like Nickel Alexander Walker is not better than SGA. Obviously, he's not better than some of these other guys we've already mentioned. So I've already got him kind of coming off the bench, but he's got a really good, interesting role. Like in some ways, I look at him as like being like DeLon Wright as the backup off the bench for the Atlanta Hawks this last season. The Nickel can kind of back up at point guard. He can back up at shooting guard. He can back up at small forward. He's just a nice utility kind of length, talented kind of guy to have as like part of your rotation off the bench. This is what I'm looking at with Walker Alexander. So, or Alexander Walker. I don't know which way the order or whatever, but yeah, that's where I see him. And then beside him, O'Shea Brissett, who's really blossomed since he was on the Raptors with the Indiana Pacers, is kind of like your backup big. He's like your backup point, power forward center. Since Kem is hurt and he won't be playing in the games this summer, this is going to be more him than Birch. Birch really kind of looked like the backup center, kind of backup big. But now that he's had his knee scoped and he's going to be out for the summer, he'll be at the games just on the sideline, but he won't be available this summer. So that's going to mean that Brissett will have more of an important role as the backup big. They may even start Brissett with Powell. I could see them doing that. Put Dwight Powell and Brissett in the starting lineup. If Nick Nurse feels like he needs a bigger lineup against the team that they're facing, it depends on the matchup with the other team. I really do believe. Like if it's the States, we may need to have a power forward and a center against the States with their size and stuff like that. So Brissett, backup power forward center. And then, like I said, Birch is out. So he's not really, I had him as the backup center straight up, but he's out. And then like the fringe guys that are left are like, we have Kevin Pangos, who was kind of in the league this year with Cleveland, but not really. He's a backup point guard. He's like the third point guard behind the Joseph. And then you got Ejim, who played in Slovenia. He's not an NBA player. He's the only guy on the team that other than Eddie who hasn't been in the NBA. So he's kind of like a backup swing guy. He's like really kind of the end of the bench kind of guy. And then you have Zach Edey, who's a 7'4" high school kid no, he's not high school. He's at Purdue. And he's not coming out of the draft this year. He's going to go back to Purdue for another year in college. So he's not in the draft this year, but he's 7'4", center from Toronto. He will be on this roster this summer also. And, depending on how Nick Nurse wants to deal with him, maybe he does throw him in more into the rotation and stuff like that. But as far as I see it, he's kind of like a third center on the team when Birch is healthy. That kind of thing. So that's really the team there. That's the five I see starting: SGA, Jamal Murray, Dylan Brooks, RJ Barrett, and Dwight Powell on a smaller lineup with like three swings with a point guard and a center. And then you got guys off the bench like Corey Joseph, Lou Dort, Nickel, O'Shea Brissett, Zach Edey, and then you got Kelly Olynyk's old ass also out there for kind of veteran stuff. I don't really want to depend on Kelly Olynyk that much. He's kind of like a good vet big for settling things down. Once again, just like Corey Joseph, and maybe playing a little dirty. We need some dirtiness out there. We'll put Kelly Olynyk out there for a little bit. But yeah, he's not somebody we want to eat a lot of the minutes for Team Canada, because honestly, he's on his way out as far as an NBA player. He's older and he shouldn't be playing that much, honestly, if you ask me. So let's see. Seymour saying, would you say the series with the Sixers was a dirty series or a bunch of good games? It's tough, Seymour. I mean, listen, I think that there were some players that were playing dirty in the series, but I think that it was a good series overall. I would lean more towards it was a series with good games. That circumstances and the way things go, you don't know how to predict them. In the first game, all kinds of different things went wrong for us. We didn't realize Gary was sick and that he was going to be that ineffective. We didn't realize, they should have realized maybe that the physicality was going to be very intense and that they needed to watch out for Joel smacking people around and doing stuff like that. I mean, it was really unfortunate how Scotty got hurt in that game. That was messed up. But I mean, if you really look at it, they had injuries on their side. We had injuries on our side. They played hard. They played better than us in quite a few of the games. That 3-point shot by Joel Embiid was a little bit of magic on their side to help them win and all that kind of stuff. It could have easily came our way too. So I would say it's a good series. I don't want to be a bad loser and say, oh, it was just a dirty series, because there was a lot of the same kind of dirtiness in all the playoff series this year. That, they just got in trouble. Miami got in trouble this morning. They're getting a $25,000 fine for Kyle Lowry's weird shenanigans off on the sideline behind Al Horford. They got fined for it, and they didn't specifically say it was the Kyle thing, but it is basically the Kyle thing that they're getting fined $25,000 for and stuff like that. So I'd say it was a good series. In fact, some people are saying that our series with Philadelphia was one of the most entertaining series in this NBA playoff season so far. That it was entertaining to see the drama between the Raptors and Joel Embiid and just all the stuff that went on. Like the way we went into their building and beat them in Game 5 was very impressive. And then like just the drama of it and everything about it. That was exciting to average NBA fan, that they enjoyed watching us go toe to toe. So Tom Duke's saying there are a few profiles on Twitch. Which one is it? There's fans that have the same name as him. His Twitch name is Yesurski Scotty. Is Yesurski Scotty Barnes, I guess. It's the one that says Yesurski Scotty. I believe is the one. That's the one with him on there. Seymour saying Raptors worked out Mathurian and Dyson Daniels, who are lottery picks. We pick at 33. Do you see a trade coming? That's interesting. I mean, they want to cover all bases just in case. So especially if they want to take that risk and try and trade up and get a lottery pick or higher pick, they better know these guys ahead of time. So it could be that they're checking the eggs ahead of trying to make a big splash and moving up. And, that's smart, because they don't want to make that move. And then the guy they get is a bust, or somebody like, why did we do this? And stuff like that. So, yeah, that is a little bit of tip in their hand that they may be looking to trade up and stuff like that. If they've got Daniels and Mathurian coming in and stuff like that. It could also be that, Mathurian's Canadian, and they're helping him out by giving him more workouts and a little bit of that kind of stuff. So sometimes teams will help young players out by giving them a good workout, and that helps them with getting more workouts with different people. Not that I think this guy needs help, but sometimes it's good to just get the practice. It's kind of like going in and doing practice interviews for jobs. It's like, maybe he's doing a practice workout with the Raptors to help him with other workouts with other teams also. But I don't think that they're going to do anything, though, still. Even if they have these higher draft picks working out, I don't think they're going to make a move. I think the chances of that are much more slim than them doing that, because part of it is also it's going to mess their cap up. And that we've seen Blake Murphy's cap breakdown for this offseason, that if they make a move and get a high draft pick, that's going to mess up their money for next season. And that could actually affect whether we can sign Chris Boucher and Thad Young back this summer. Like if we do that, I don't think we'll be able to get both of them back for sure. Tom Duke saying Zach Edey getting in there is great. And also him going back to college is also a wise move. Yeah, I agree with this too. I think that maybe some players come in way too early. That this is part of James Worthy's criticism that we talked about yesterday. The players don't know the fundamentals. It's because they don't go to college and they don't learn them there. This is the funny thing, watching Scotty on Twitch yesterday and hearing how he talks about the game in the game, like while he's playing it, he's very fundamentally sound. Like he's calling out his teammates for different things that they're not doing that are fundamentally good, like whether it's on defense, the way they're standing or something like that, or different plays like that. It's hilarious. Like, honestly, the man is a coach. The man wants to win, and he is a really inspiring leader, just even with his video game Twitch buddies. Like, it's hilarious. Yeah, Yesurski Scotty, that's it. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Tom, you know what? Maybe I will send a link to the page that his Twitch is on and put it in the comments for after this stream. So all you guys can find him on there. It's hilarious, honestly, and I do expect him to be on there at some point today. And the couple of times that he's been on, it's mostly in the evening. He'll be on around 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. and that's around when he's on. So just so y'all know. Yeah, Tom, don't worry. Don't be obsessive about it. Don't worry. We'll get you the information you need. Don't worry. You got it. So, yeah, just get back to Team Canada a little bit more. What a great core. Like, SGA, Jamal Murray, Dylan Brooks, RJ Barrett, Dwight Powell, Corey Joseph, Lou Dort, Nickel Walker, O'Shea Brissett, Kem Birch, Zach Edey, Kelly Olnick, Ejum, and Kevin Pangos. That's 14. They get one more spot. So there is an open spot that can be won by Andrew Wiggins later on. The other guys that are in the league that aren't on this list, Brandon Clark, Tristan Thompson, Delano Banton, and Chris Boucher. Or what about Josh Primo of the San Antonio Spurs? These are all guys that are in the pool of Canadian players that could possibly be revisited and brought into the system later. Now, let's see. Yeah, Seymour saying the kid Primo from Spurs should get a look. Yeah, I think so too. He didn't commit this time, but he's young. He just had his rookie year. We'll see him more and more probably in Team Canada for sure and stuff like that. But it's exciting. This is the thing. I really do believe that we should be ready for Team Canada to become a real player on international basketball stage. That the combination of the maturation of the Vince Carter effect on young Canadian players and where they are now in their age, combined with the fact that Team Canada has figured out that you need a commitment from these players for over years to get a core that works well together, because you can't play international basketball against a team that's been playing together since they were all 16 and that they know each other from playing so long together. You can't just throw random talent together like the States does and just hope you win, because that doesn't always work out. We've seen that. The United States does that. They throw their best NBA players all of a sudden together and they don't necessarily win the gold because other teams have their team play worked out way better. And the fact that we've got this commitment for the 3 years leading up to the 2024 Olympics is huge. In fact, that will get us more like the European teams and less like the American team, because they can't herd kittens together like they can in the US. They can't do it in the US because these guys are just too all over the place. And in fact, if they got the creme de la creme American players, how would they get them to commit for 3 summers like this? I just don't see it. They'd have to get like mid-level, maybe not the very top, because LeBron's not going to come and play for 3 summers for Team USA and stuff like that. It's that kind of thing. So it's like find the balance between Canada, between the US, have the really superb NBA talent, but then have a system and a program that allows for them to stay together and really work on building together over time and stuff like that. And that's why I think we'll be successful, is because if we can be that hybrid between the US and the European teams, then we'll be in good shape, because we'll have a good amount of talent to out-talent the other teams, but also enough synergy with them. And it doesn't hurt that Nick Nurse is going to be the coach and that he can be really creative and fun with a lot of the different players that he's going to get to use for Team Canada. I'm excited about this. I want to see, we've seen what he did this year with all the creativity, with the schemes and the ideas for the Raptors with positionless and different things like that. What is he going to do with this kind of a core with so many scorers, slashers? And what kind of defensive things is he going to set up and stuff like that? It's very, very exciting. In fact, I'm very curious. I want to tell y'all, if you live near Hamilton on Canada Day, if you don't have anything to do, go to this game. The tickets are for sale, and if you can go to this game, go to it, because think about it. You're going to get to see a lot of great NBA players. You're going to get to see Nick Nurse, and you're going to get to see Team Canada play against Dominican Republic, July the 1st, Canada Day in Hamilton. If you have that opportunity and you can go to it, please. Also, we want to show that Canada will support Team Canada with ticket sales, that we can get a full arena in there, because I'm going to tell you right now, they don't even have the whole arena up for sale because they don't probably expect a lot of people to come to this game. So think about it. You could probably go to this game, see international play, Canada versus Dominican Republic, and see all of these NBA players like Dylan Brooks, Lou Dort, SGA, Jamal Murray, all in one place. That's fantastic. I would check that out. Trey Lyles is another one. That's right. Yeah, he's not being really talked about in this cycle. He was in the last cycle, played for Team Canada in the last cycle. Brandon Clark, same kind of thing. These are 2 good big guys that we could use if they're involved in the whole project. And like any of these names that aren't on this committed list, these other guys are people that could become on the team. Any one of them, whether it's Boucher, Banton, whether it's Trey Lyles, whether it's Brandon Clark, any of them. The only one I wouldn't probably bet on is Tristan Thompson. I mean, I don't think we want all that distraction and weirdness anyway. And he is a little bit past his prime. So, like, get the younger guys in there. I'd much rather have a Zach Edey on the team than Tristan Thompson. So, like, Stauskas is another one. Yeah. Stauskas is actually still playing also because he's on the Celtics right now. So, yeah, he hasn't been really talked about as much in this whole thing. Like, it's interesting that it's Pangos. Pangos is a little bit like, I don't know. They're very similar in talent level to me. Kevin Pangos, Nick Stauskas, and stuff like that. But they got Kevin Pangos on this team right now. Okay. All right. I don't know how much more I want to talk about. I just wanted to talk about Team Canada, how I kind of break down the roster, kind of maybe how Nick Nurse will play them. Like I said, I think they can play small and have a lot of wings in the middle because they just don't have a whole lot of big guys. They maybe just play one big center, Dwight Powell, and run up and down the court with all this scoring energy between SGA, Dylan Brooks, Jamal Murray. Holy crap, RJ Barrett. That is a lot of firepower offensively right there. And it's going to be a lot of fun to see how Nick Nurse crafts this team, what his game plan is, and what kind of defense is he going to run with them. Now, Dominican's not a super great team, so they should blow them out. And then Virgin Islands is the next game after that this summer. That'll be important too. They win both these games. That means they're 4-0 in this whole buildup and part of it, and they get invited to the next stage, and then they can really earn their Olympic spot. Because nothing's given. They have to go through all of the qualifiers to get a qualifying spot in the Olympics. So that they have work to do over the next couple of summers. But I really love that Rowan Barrett has brought this up and said, we want commitments. We want cohesion. We want some sort of thing from each event. Same guys, so they can have a build up instead of just tearing it down every time, building a new one every time. And that's the folly of the U.S. and Canadian Olympic teams over the years, is tearing it down, not having the same core like all the European teams, like South American teams. They all have that kind of stuff going on with their teams. So, all right, y'all, thanks for joining me this morning on this Sunday special report. Team Canada. Look at their roster and what we should maybe expect as far as like what's going to happen with them and if these other guys may come and play eventually. I really do think Andrew Wiggins will end up playing for Team Canada in the Olympics. That he wants to. He does on the down low, seriously. But don't take it too much that he's not in this core that's committed right now. That in the article that I read about this, that he is very interested, but he may have to go a harder route to make the team later. But if anybody's going to do that out of the guys who aren't on the team, it will be Wiggins because he's got the best talent and stuff like that, in my opinion. Anyway, y'all have a great Sunday. Tomorrow, I'll be back with a Monday memory. It's just talking about some game that we had in the season that was memorable and just nice to think about and stuff like that. All right, have a great weekend. Happy long weekend for the Americans down south and stuff like that. And let's go Team Canada. Yeah, we're going to do something this year. That's right. We're going to get in those Olympics. Oh, Canada.